This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. If you've got challenges in your life, maybe it's not moving forward in the direction you want to, or you feel stress, you feel anxiety. Maybe you want to stop a bad habit. Maybe you have a phobia. I ask, how come you're not using hypnosis? Just wondering, no judgment whatsoever. I asked myself that question a number of years ago. And my answer was, well, I don't know what it is. I'm afraid of it. All these other things that came up, and they were totally not true. But what was true, that hypnosis, hypnotherapy can really change your life. It's changed mine. And I've learned so much from her. She's back with us from the Center for Inner Wellness. Becky Waters is on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
Good to have you here. Learned a lot last time we got together in another life, and here we are. And I'm sure you hear what I thought, and others, I believe, are thinking about hypnosis, hypnotherapy, all these myths, these misconceptions, right?
Yeah. The biggest one is really like they're going to lose control, or they'll go unconscious, or say something that they don't want to say. But really, it's you're in control. You have to want to be hypnotized. If you don't want to be hypnotized, then nobody can really do that. And most people come in, they've tried everything else, and they're ready to make some changes. And so it's a focused, relaxed state. And we go into that place. It's kind of like putting the conscious mind on the back burner so that we can talk to that part that holds all of our emotions, our repeating patterns, so that we can update the software, basically.
That's a great analogy. It's many of us are running Windows 95 right now.
Or earlier, yeah.
DOS. I'm DOS right here. And that's why, life doesn't move forward, because everything else has moved forward in life, but you're using an old program that you got typically from your childhood. And it's just the way we internalize things as kids, and we hold on to certain things or certain beliefs that aren't true. And we just keep running the same program over and over again, which is stopping you from doing what you really want to do, or moving your life forward, or making money and having abundance. And to your point about it not working unless you wanted to, after it worked beautifully for me, I suggested hypnosis to somebody I'm very, very close to. And I even suggested, everything, who to use, everything. Here you go. It's going to work great. She said after 3 sessions, she didn't really notice anything. I know deep down inside, her personality wasn't open to it. I just know. I know, because it would have worked. But I think she was closed at the time, and just, let me just put my toe into the water, but I'm not really sure. Everything that you said, I'll give her credit for taking the next step, but you have to want to make the change. And that backs up the belief, or squashes the belief, that you can control somebody's mind, make them cluck like a chicken, bark like a dog, give you credit card numbers, all of that. No, if you don't normally want to do that, nobody's gonna do that. If you have a passion for barking like a dog, then you could be hypnotized to do that.
I mean, we do that, but it usually doesn't help change things.
True. Yeah, it's just going to be entertaining for the rest of us.
And you've got to be ready to make that change for yourself. And be willing. It's not a magic pill. It's not a magic wand. You've got to do the work, because it's really just updating habits. Everything's a habit, and it takes time, because we didn't get the way we are like overnight.
That's a great point you bring up, because habits aren't typically changed overnight. But I don't think we look at it, let's say stress, anxiety, it becomes a habit whereby you already experienced it, but now it's such a part of your life that it's an everyday routine to be stressed out, have anxiety about certain situations, right?
Yeah, it becomes, this is who I am. It's just who
Yeah.
I am. And that's the key thing, because we live the life that the subconscious mind believes in. And if you have been in a stressful environment most of your life, this becomes the way things are. The subconscious mind, I mean, there's anxiety, you've gone into fight flight. So there's not a sense of safety. And so you have to change from the inside, have to create that sense of safety and create an identity that I'm a person who is safe. I mean, my environment is safe now, and and what you want to create. I'm a person who goes to the gym, 3 times a week, or what this or that, and rather than, most people are like, when the outside circumstances change, then I can change, but it's actually the other way around.
Now, you just said something about going to the gym, you make that a habit. What if, I'm going very hypothetical here, but it just popped in my mind.
Okay.
What if you exercise, you think you're eating right, but you're really not really pushing yourself. You get to a certain point and that's it. But deep down inside, you want to have a better body, you want to lose weight, but it's not happening. And maybe some of those reasons are deep down inside, and it could come from childhood or situation, trauma, whatever,
Mhm.
that you don't feel you deserve it. You don't feel you deserve to be in the shape that you want to be, and all of that. So you do it, you work out, you take care of things, but you don't go the extra step. Could hypnotherapy actually help you with that?
Absolutely. And, if it was all about diet and exercise, we'd all be skinny.
Yeah.
It is those underlying beliefs, emotional things going on. Um, I've worked with so many people, that want to lose weight, but find out that, it was their relationship, or they had grief over a decision they'd made early in their 20s. Um,
Mm,
and so once you get past that emotional block, or that belief, self-esteem beliefs, they they got our life
yeah.
and limit us. And then you begin to take those steps naturally. I'm a person who, whatever, you have to believe that first inside.
Mm,
And with hypnosis, it's great because the subconscious mind doesn't know real or make believe. It just knows what you give it, what you think about, and the emotion that you add to it. Um, and it's like, "Ooh, this is great." Yeah. And so you practice that internally, over and over, because we learn through association and repetition and emotion. And so
mm.
it makes the change naturally. You're going to naturally take the steps.
Yeah. I mean, it could be even in that situation about the gym, maybe somebody in your life made you feel guilty that you're taking care of yourself, or, you're a people pleaser, but you don't take care of yourself because you may feel guilt or whatever. And that could even go back to, and as I understand it from therapists, the feeling of not feeling worthy
Yeah.
is major for all of us, whether we realize it or not, in many different shapes and forms. But that
Yeah.
could be um, kind of derailing your fitness goals, even though you're showing up and you're doing your thing, but you're not really
Mhm.
pushing yourself hard because deep down inside, you don't want to succeed for whatever reason. There could be many. It could be many, but
Right.
amazing
And
to see that this can help.
it's not a conscious decision. I mean, because most
Right.
people want to succeed, but there's
Right.
something underneath that says, nah, you can only go this way.
Yeah,
You're not worth the rest of it. Yeah.
for sure.
Other people can, I can't.
I have a perfect candidate for hypnotherapy. Uh, Somebody I'm connected to. Met him about a year ago. Friends of friends and all that. And he's got everything to succeed.
Mhm.
Everything. Like it's there. We all look at him like, dude, why are you not? He even, his business, all of this, he's stuck. And he actually
Mhm.
said he has a fear of failing and succeeding. So he's kind of in limbo. And
Yeah.
he's been through some challenges, but he doesn't take stock in what he has. He always looks at what he doesn't have, but he doesn't realize what the amazing things that the skills, his looks, all of this,
Yeah.
that he should be crushing it. There is a
Yeah.
block there. There is a block.
Yeah. Yeah. And, again, the subconscious only knows what you give it. So if you focus on all the things you don't have, and you feel the negative emotion about that, all the subconscious mind knows is, wow, there's a lot of energy going toward this. So let's do more of that. Let's give you more reasons to doubt yourself, more reasons to see what you don't have or feel bad.
Hmm. I, um, I feel the subconscious is wonderful because it wants the best for you and it wants you to be safe and it wants to support you, but it's stupid.
Exactly. It has no sense of humor.
Yeah, or time
Yeah,
because yeah,
exactly.
I look at it this way, when they say that you're acting like a child. Do you realize you're acting? Yes, you are because you're running that old program from when you were a child. Becky,
Yeah.
scale 1 to 10, 10 being what holds us back is everything from our childhood. Now, it's not going to be that number, I'm sure, but I'm curious how up there on the 10 scale you would put what challenges us or holds us back from moving forward.
Um, I would say, no, the number three comes. Wait. 10 is everything?
10 is
Okay, sorry.
10 is it's
We're doing
from
that.
your childhood. It's
Okay,
everything
yeah,
from your childhood. Those are the blocks right there.
right.
Uh, what do you think?
I would say seven.
I figured
You know,
that.
one of my mentors, would say, is it always have to be about childhood? Well, eventually it does because that's where those self-esteem beliefs come from. I mean, maybe fear of flying is not necessarily about childhood.
But it could trace back.
Or, I had a client once who wanted to learn to ride a horse, but we come to find out she was afraid of everything. She grew up in a household that said anything, everything is dangerous. And
Mm.
so we had to back up. It's like, okay, riding the horse is a great idea, but let's work on this. It's safe to go explore, go walk down the street or something, we
Sure.
had to start back up.
Yeah. And, it sounds like maybe that person's parents or parent was overprotective and that's,
Yeah,
piloting you.
yeah,
It's, it seems like this stuff comes from childhood, but then, and of course, there could be a trauma, and that could be a little, I call them little T trauma, big T trauma,
right.
the little T trauma.
Mhm.
That one day you got bullied on the playground. It was a 1 minute episode where somebody was calling you out on the playground. That could be holding you back, but it could be a big T trauma, passing of a relative, whatever it might be.
Right.
But is it true that the subconscious is always looking for evidence? So let's say that in your childhood, you're 5 years old, there was a situation, you feel like you're not worthy, not good enough. Now, as life goes on, now you're 14, now you're 24, now you're 44, and time goes on, and your subconscious is looking up. There's another reason, finding little things along your adult life, which, that could be your spouse or in a relationship. Somebody said something
Mhm.
to you, and subconsciously, your subconscious is saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, there's proof again.
Mhm.
You're not good enough."
Yeah.
Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
because there's a reticular activating system. I'm not sure exactly where it is in the brain, but it's in the subconscious part. The subconscious takes in all, billions of bits of information. The conscious mind can only handle a certain amount. And so we have this reticular activating system that's based on what's important to you. And so if you keep saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'll never be happy, or whatever your personal lie is, um, it looks for that evidence. And, people could be treating you with respect, or you could have all these good things happening. You're not going to pay attention to them because that subconscious mind is focused on that thing that
Mm,
you keep repeating.
wow, that's big. That's, again, you could have a wonderful life, like you said, great people, supportive and everything. but you're not focused on that. You're putting the microscope on a negative situation. I,
Hmm.
well, talking about negative, it's my belief that we are, and I believe you back it up by what you said before. It's a habit, or things are habitual. That we ride on the negative side of things because when we were children, that's some of the first things we experienced, negativity. You know,
Yeah.
you too, you walk up to the kitchen table and I can walk now. This is great.
All
I
you
could,
hear is no, no.
yeah, touching the salt shaker. No, put that down, put that down. There's nothing wrong with touching that, but your parents didn't want to clean up salt all over. You get it in your eye as a, 2-year-olds, whatever it might be. But that was a negative. And that was a joyous moment. I can see now. I'm looking at
Yeah.
everything around. This is fantastic. I get yelled at. And
Yeah.
it's negative.
Yeah. You keep, I mean, you basically learn that no, I can't do that. Mommy goes, oh, let me help you. We don't
Mm,
understand that mommy's really in a hurry and we need to go. But, it just happens over and over. And,
mm,
I know it's well-meaning parents, but, that child is learning, and can I do things on my own? Is it safe? Can I get my needs met? And those experiences go into that database with no filter system because we can't understand two opposing truths. That I'm good, it's okay to explore, but mommy's in a hurry and we got to go now.
mm. I never thought of it that way. That you're a kid, you're not
Yeah,
thinking mommy's in a hurry. You're thinking, I can't do this. Mommy has to help me with that. Wow.
right,
Becky, can you take us through a success story, a journey of somebody? It's all confidential, just the challenge that they
right.
had coming to you, how many sessions and the outcome.
One of my favorite clients, um, she was suffering with imposter syndrome. She was highly successful, well sought out, but she'd had some um, unfortunate work experiences, narcissistic boss, those kinds of things, corporate, um, losing a job, somebody else got hired and she had to train them, just all this kind of negative experiences really crushed her confidence. But she was a go-getter. She's like, okay, I'm just going to make my own company. But then her company was building and successful, but she felt like an imposter. And so we worked together about eight eight sessions, and we looked at some of those underlying beliefs. Wisdom comes from taking those experiences, getting the positive learnings, and working through the pain, letting the pain go, so that you can take the good and reshaping, building that trust in herself, her own value.
Mm,
One of the first things we did, she didn't pay herself a salary. She had this, you know, company that was very successful, but she wasn't paying herself. So the first thing I said, give yourself a salary.
well, okay, hold on. How did she support herself?
Um, she'd take bits here and there, but she didn't have an official salary
I write
that she would
myself a
get.
check from my, I have, different businesses.
Yeah,
That's the best part of my day or week or whenever I write the
yeah,
check. It's like, because it's your baby, your company, and then you're compensating. But I totally get what you're saying. I
yeah.
totally
It
understand.
it changed your outlook, and we worked on you be the CEO. You don't have to do all the work. You have people to do that. You be the CEO, the visionary, which is what she was excellent at. And she had a goal that she was working for, and she reached that goal. And yeah, amazing.
Wow. So I know someone that kind of similar to what you're talking about, where wonderful person, warm, loving, she's a connector, she puts people together, she has a
Mm,
charity, she helps children, she's a single mom, she doesn't make a
mm,
lot of money. The charity doesn't make any money off of that, it's just
right.
helping other people. I'm convinced that she has a fear of abundance. And I think that comes from a couple of different areas, possibly her mom, who's no longer here, But, you
Mm.
know, the same thing that our parents would say, what do you know? Money doesn't grow on trees. So that's been planted. And then her ex, there was issues with money. And I
Mm.
believe that she just doesn't bring it on. She has a fear of succeeding or just a fear of money, a fear of abundance,
Yeah.
somehow deep seated in there because she should be making more money. You know, she's struggling like that.
Yeah. We have that money ceiling,
Mm,
parts, you hear your parents, talk about, rich people, blah, 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 and, or, we don't have the money or just that scarcity mindset.
yes. Well, you know, your parents' parent, grandparents, if you will, depending on how old you are, may
Right.
have come from the Great Depression. So that's been instilled and then passed
Yeah.
on. And
Hmm.
then you've got that block. But when you work with somebody, Becky, is it true that you're basically, my best description is you're giving us the keys to unlock our mind?
Yeah.
It's not like you're throwing things at us and you're like,
Mm.
you're getting sleepy now, all of that kind of craziness. You're just allowing us to tap into our mind by getting us into a very comfortable, relaxed state. Is that essentially what's
Yeah,
going on here?
exactly. You slow the breath, it slows the heart rate, it slows the brain waves. You would get
Sure.
into that very, again, like you're putting the conscious mind, critical mind on the back burner, and so that we can begin to imagine what would it be like to be successful in your own version, create these changes, and the subconscious doesn't know the difference. We bring in the emotion of it, um, and
Hmm.
and then over time through repetition. And then in the outer world, you go home with tools to, when that uh, negative Nelly belief comes up, of questioning it, stop and reframing it into this, we create a vision of what you want, where you're going, and create an anchor, physical anchor in the breath. So it stops that automatic pattern enough to install a new vision.
Hmm. So essentially, you are making a suggestion on what that vision might be. So let's
And
in
that we've talked about, that
Yeah,
they've
we talk.
told me
Yeah,
that's
it's
what they
not like
want.
you're just it's coming out of
I'm
nowhere.
not making it up. Yeah.
Right. Because you talk with somebody ahead of time, find out what their goals are, what they feel their challenges are. Um, it's amazing how it works. It's
And we work with, what do you want instead?
before
And
we
and
met,
anchor that in.
I and it's just to illustrate. I had hypnotherapy with someone, and they sent me a 20-minute audio. And it wasn't of our session. It was just something they do. They just send audio if you want to, almost like to back up what took place during the
Mm,
hypnotherapy sessions.
mm,
I've listened to it, not recently, but I would listen to it almost every night, not for the goal of the hypnotherapy. I would listen to the recording to fall asleep because I was so relaxed.
yeah.
And 6 minutes into the 20-minute recording, I'm out.
Right.
But I got to believe the subconscious, even though you're sleeping, is still listening. So it probably just backed up the goal, even, pushed it even further without me even knowing because I'm asleep. But I wanted to share that just because it's so relaxing. Yeah. It just, all you got to
Yeah.
do is just sit there and, and listen and share some things, but you don't have to share anything you don't want to. It's not like you're
Yeah.
going to
And
pull out
generally,
information.
generally when we get to that hypnosis part, we're not talking. We've already done that. I mean, there are scripts that we talk back and forth, but generally you're just there following along on a guided journey and relaxed. And most people say, I didn't realize I could be so relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
Becky, how do we connect with you? I know you offer a free consultation, right?
Yes, it's free discovery session. Just come to my website and check that out. And it's Becky, Center for Inner Wellness.
Centerforinnerwellness.com.
Yeah, and I've got
Yep.
a new little guide on that tells us about hypnotherapy demystified, that will give all sorts of tips and tricks and all kinds of interesting things.
I'm going to say it. I'm sure you've heard it. I wish I had done it sooner,
Oh yeah. Yeah, if I'd
right?
have known this in my 20s, I'd be a completely different person.
It's so worth the investment in yourself and not worth worrying about what's going to happen during it, because it's almost funny that we worry about this. I don't judge anyone. I was that person. And it can be done virtually. And
Yeah.
you're in your comfortable space in your home. You're just sitting there chilling out, and
Yeah.
you're just sharing, putting somebody in a nice, relaxed state. But final thought here, we didn't say this, but I think it kind of seals the deal. That hypnotic state is the same state you're in right before you fall asleep and when you
Exactly.
first wake up.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a natural state.
Mm. Yeah, you're hypnotized all day long and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, and you're most suggestible to your own mental chatter.
Yeah,
So you're hypnotizing yourself.
good or bad chatter. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Becky, thank you so much for today. Really appreciate
Thank
all
you.
the insight. Looking forward next time we get together.
All right, thank you so much.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.